Happy Independence Day to you all.
It's 11 o'clock.
And it's 11 o'clock. Hope you all are doing good, isn't it? Today is a day of freedom, and many of us must be like that will be the assumption that I'll be speaking about freedom or something about independence, right? And it's supposed to be like that, but I think what God led me to speak today, that is something else, and that I've been going through. It's been like over a year now, and how uh, God really, I've been struggling since last past 1 year, and something that I have experienced and struggle and overcome by God's grace, that I will be sharing with you all, and something that is relevant to me, and I believe that it will be relevant to you all too. You know. So before I go further to tell what I'm going to speak, I will ask you all a few questions, and I want you to be honest with, right? Okay, raise your hand if you are listening. Yeah. Uh, how many of you are worried about your financial situations, or the provisions, or the mm, yes, financial situation? How many of you? Just raise your hand if you are. If not, no problem. Be honest. Yeah. Thank you. I can see only few faces. How to make it all view? Uh, I can't see everyone actually. Uh, Show thumbnail video. Okay. The next question is, how many of you are worried about your loved ones, their health, or any kind of fear that you go through with your related to your loved ones? I'm one of them. Yeah. Thank you. How many of you are worried about your job, your career, your what field you are going to go, what kind of job, how much you will earn, how much you are worried, how many of you are worried about it? I believe the youngsters will be. I wish I could see other faces also. I'm just able to see 5 faces. Anyway, how many of you are worried about your life partner? That whom will I get married, and will I get married or not, or I have to live all my life alone? How many of you are worried about it? No one here. Anyone? Just maybe in the audio you can say, yes, I am. Be honest. No? No one? It's okay. So you must have got the idea what I'm going to speak today, isn't it? I'm going to speak about worry. As a believer, as a human, we are surrounded with these few worries. I believe like we don't have many things to worry. These are the few worries that we go around. One is the provisions and the financial. Second is the loved ones. Third is the work. The field that I'm going to work, and the fourth is I think the life partner that we really worry about. But the worry is not a biblical. When Bible tells us something, worrying is not a biblical. It says in Luke 12:22, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what will you eat, about your body, or what will you wear. And I will not read the entire passage, but it says, since you cannot do a very little thing, why do you worry about the rest? It says like it's not a biblical thing when you worry, specifically for the believers. The God is telling straight that you should not worry about all this. And when we worry, what does it mean when we are worrying about all these things? When we worry about the finances, when we worry about the family, when we worry about the anything, it means like and that worry becomes so big, and it kind of occupying the space in our mind, and we are, it means like that our worries are bigger than our God, or our God is not in control, or something like that. We are not able to trust God for his abilities. It means that God is not in control. It means like our worries are bigger than our God. It means like we are hopeless, or it means like we are helpless, when we start worrying. uh, but let me be practical here. Worrying is a part of a human behavior, isn't it? We were worrying in past, People worried in past, we are worrying today, and we will continue to worry tomorrow. It's something like every all believers struggle with that, isn't it? Why I'm sharing this today about worry is something I worry so much. I worry about everything. Let me be honest with you. The past 1.5 years has not been easy for me and my family since the lockdown started, and I have to close my academy for time being, and then I broke my leg. It was like almost, I think, 2.5 months I was on cast. Then my wife got pregnant. That was a good news. But the worry started happening when she faced so many complications, and she was even admitted. There was a time that we thought like we had to abort both the children, both the babies, and I was worried about her health because we were hearing lots of stories, lots of stories were coming. Our known one of the lady, she died on the operation table, she bleed to death while delivering a baby. So many things were happening, that mind was full of worries, it was like uh, eating me inside out, it was really eating me inside out. But what I did, whenever all this came, I ran to God, because I know that I wanted comfort. I wanted to experience the comfort when I faced all this. I wanted to experience Him. And to be honest, I found it. That's why I'm sharing this message with you all today, that I wanted to share the encouragement with you all. I wanted to share the comfort with you all, what I have experienced over the past 1.5 years. There is a comfort. When we worry, the first thing, like, I will be speaking about these 4 points. I'll be speaking these practical aspects of finance, financial thing, and the family, loved ones, when we worry about, and the job, and the choosing a life partner. So, worrying about the finances, that is the first point. Finances, the provisions, the resources. A group of people in the Bible, they were also worried about the finances, and even they were with Jesus. They walked with Jesus. They were worried about the finances, and they were worried about the provisions. One incident, they said, "Oh, how are we going to feed all those people? I think it's better you send them off, because it will take a whole year wages to feed all these people, isn't it?" If we remember in Matthew 14:5, this incident when Jesus fed 5,000 people. Even sometime after knowing Christ, also after walking with Him, we don't feel the security. We continue to worry, and it happened with this group of people also. You know, there are two type of believers, or two type of Christians. One who pray when they are worried, they submit to God what they are going through. Another group of people is also pray to God. But the difference between these two group of people is, the first group of people, when they pray, they wait upon God. They wait for His provisions. They wait for His answers. The another group of people is, they pray to God what they are going through. But the thing is that they don't have patience. They rush. They rush before God answer. They rush. They go with their own way. There is in Chandigarh only, there is a church. I won't mention the name of the church, and the person in that church, something happened. One of the member of in this church, this member was a wonderful believer, as I know him personally. I know him, and he used to greet people when people used to come to church. He used to greet nicely, very nice, very calm, loving person, and they used to share in the church the prayer points that they are going through with the financial crisis. Please pray for their financial crisis. He didn't have father. He has I think two sisters or a mother. And one day his sister, they came to the podium, started giving the testimony. Oh, we are thankful to God that God is really going to improve our financial situation, and we are really grateful to Him. Church also praised God for that, but they didn't really mention the reason. how it's going to happen. But they just said that God is going to answer their prayers, the faith they had. And this boy, he used to work with the financiers company, and so his job was every evening he will take the cash from the financer and he will go and submit to the bank. That was his job. One day at evening hours, when he was taking a huge cash, and he was robbed. He was robbed by a few people, and he was beaten badly. His hand was broken, and it was very sad. It was very sad. When police investigated, they asked him the few questions and things like that. They found out that was his plan. He hired few people that they will rob him and take the cash, and they will break. He pretended in such a way, and he was imprisoned. Of course, the entire thing came out. So sometimes it's like that. There are two type of believer, as I mentioned. One is patient with God when they pray, when they are worried, they submit their worries to God. They wait. Another group of people, they also pray to God. They are giving glory to God, as But the thing is that there is no patience. They are not able to really. They are rushing in their actions, and that happened. Like in Proverb, we know that this passage many of us have read hundreds of times. Proverb 3:5-7. But how many times we really uh, think about it? It says like, do not trust in the Lord with your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. And in all your ways submit to Him, and He'll make your path straight. And the verse 7, I'll read out to you. That's we don't really. It says, do not be wise in your own eyes. The next passage only. Fear the Lord and shun evil. Sometimes it's like this. We are a believer. We pray to God. But like, we become wise in our own eyes. We think that, oh, this is the opportunity from God. God brought this opportunity for me. Let me grab it. Let me grab it. But it's not biblical at all. It's not. God asked His people to act. God asked, wait upon it. I'm going to provide. He's going to open the floodgates. He said, ask and you will receive. This kind of thing in the Bible, not the shortcut kind of thing. God never said that I'm going to give you something, but you need to return it back. And do we see in the Bible? Nowhere like that, right? So it's something like when God gives His provisions, He opened His floodgates of heaven. He do not burden us. He do not burden. What I mean with burden, we burden ourselves with our actions. That way, this boy, he burdened himself. He do not burden us. He takes away the burdens. Like in the Matthew 11:28, it says, what is say Matthew 11:28? Let me read out to you. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest in your souls. So when God provides, He gives the peace as well. When God provides, He gives the rest as well. He gives the content, He gives the satisfaction. He do not give us the burden when He provides. So when you are receiving your provisions, are you having a peace in your heart? Do we have a peace? Or you took something after praying, you thought that, oh, it is from God, and we are burdening ourselves. I think we need to really think upon this when God provides. Don't take shortcuts and think that's the answer from God, because when God answers us, there's an assurance in it. There's a peace in it. There's a comfort and there's a content in it. Now, the second point, as I mentioned, how many of you are worried about your loved ones? This is very something like, I told you, like when I worry too much about my family, I worry about many of us, all of us, we are worried about our loved ones. I think like sometimes if something will happen to, what will happen? If something happened to my son, what will happen? My younger one, Jubel, he went through surgery when he was 1 month old only. it was like a pain for us. Like we were really scared. We were crying also. He was such a tiny boy, and he went through. It was a small surgery, the 1 hour surgery, but that some complication happened there, that he was not coming. He was not becoming conscious. It took almost 15 hours for him to come to conscious. It was a pain. It was like we were going through it so much. And I think many of us also, we go through with this thought when we regarding our loved ones, isn't it? There are something in the Bible, some of the examples I like to share, because Bible is full of examples that we can all learn from. you know Luke 8:41, we can open. Let me just read for you guys. There is a one man. He says, uh, he says, there is a man, then a man named Jairus, a synagogue leader, came and fell at Jesus' feet, pleading with him to come to his house because his only daughter, a girl is about 12, was dying. And in a further, in 49 verse, it says, while Jesus was still speaking, someone came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. Your daughter is dead. He said, don't bother the teacher anymore. Such a nightmare for a father to go through, isn't it? It's a nightmare. It says only daughter. He didn't have any other sons or daughters. He had only one daughter. And he was just going running here and there, finding help. Maybe, he must have went to so many doctors that time. And someone tell, oh, go there, like that. He must have traveled and done things for to save his only daughter. Such a nightmare he went through. The another example we can take it. mm, John, sorry, John 11:25. Let me just read. Don't open it. Let me just read out for you. It says, 21. Martha said to Jesus, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even not God will give you whatever you ask. Only brother, two sisters. I think they had a wonderful, loving family. Only brother died. Nightmare for the sisters. It's like heartbreaking. Worried about loved ones. Another one we can recall it in John 11:5. Sorry, Luke 7:2. Sometimes we are worried about loved ones, but sometimes we are worried about those are not even blood connected with us. But we care for so many those kind of people. It says there's a centurion servant whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. The centurion is sending his people to go and find help for his servant. You know, loved ones. I think it can really break us if something happened to our loved ones, isn't it? We can't really comprehend when was pregnant, my wife, and the first month only, the first I think second month, and it was like we had to travel home because of my mother. She had a heart attack, and traveling in that situation for her is not, it was not practical at all. No one advised, I think, to travel in your first month of your pregnancy. We prayed to God, and God kept that pregnancy secured. And then second incident happened when I think after 3 months, some bleeding started happening inside, and doctor said that, oh, we have to, I think, clean it. We have to abort the baby. There were two of them, and one was an unusual position, and it came down, and the doctor said, oh, it will come out by itself. So like there was not supposed to be any baby left. We were worried. We cried, but we prayed to God. We pray to God, we submit to Him our worries, and God really honored that. We thank God for that. We so grateful to that. One incident in the Bible really inspire me. It's something. It's about the David's son, when he was praying and he was mourning and he was crying out for his son, isn't it? He said he was really crying, and Nathan came. You don't do that. I think you should come out and eat, or like that. And when his son died, what did he do? He did not curse God. He did not curse God, but he was okay. He praised God again. He started worshiping God again. That's like a very, I don't know how will I act when something will happen like this. But whenever all these thoughts come to me, what is an encouragement for me? It's in the same chapter, John 11:28. Every time, whenever all these thoughts and these worries come to my loved ones, if something happened to something happened to my parents, something happened to my brother and his family, something happened to my loved ones, this passage is just so comforting and tells me like, why? It says, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. Even though they die. It's such an encouragement for me that I'm going to see them again. I'm going to see them again. This is just a little fraction of part I'm living here. I'm going to spend it with them in eternity, isn't it? And that's going to be joy. There's not going to be any fear of any sickness. There's not going to be any fear of any that losing a loved one. Because he's a resurrection of life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. Whoever lives by believing in me will never die, he says. Do you believe this? You know, that's the greatest motivation. I think I have it when all this, the fear and the worries come to me about my loved ones. Now, the third one for the youngsters, the worry of choosing a job, choosing a career. This is one of the two worries that gives lots of stress to our youth. Choosing the career and getting a wonderful job. You know why I said that one of the two worries. The first, sorry, yeah. Can I ask someone here who's looking for a job, and what kind of job, what kind of job you want to do, or what kind of criteria do you seek in a job, Brother Stephen and Brother Jason? What kind of criteria do you seek in a job? Characteristic about the job, yes, please. It's open to all the church members.
And something that will add some value to the society, that brings some ease.
No money. Money is okay.
Of course, we'll get money, we'll get paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the first thing we seek all how much money we are getting here, right?
Yeah.
But you are right. Adding to the society, yes. One point, Brother Stephen. Can I ask you this? Yes. What do you seek?
I would say you're looking for stability.
Stability.
Job is not,
security.
Job is not going to go away.
Security.
Security, yeah.
Brother Sushant, you worked in Merchant Navy.
That's right. And I would want to love what I'm doing.
Okay. What you love, what you're doing.
I would not have survived so many years in the Merchant Navy if I hadn't loved what I was doing.
Very good. There is a person in the character in the Bible who had a high-paid job. He was working with RRS. What is RRS? Romans Revenue Services. He had a security as well. He was secured by the Romans. He was young. He had a very much social life as well, and whatever you can ask as a in a good job, he had it, but he was not satisfied. He was just not satisfied. He was empty. How many of you have seen the series The Chosen? These days is going on. Just raise your hand if you have seen The Chosen. It's an app you can download, and it's about the Jesus story, but lovely way they made it. You can really watch it. So, who's that character? Anyone who can guess?
Matthew.
Yes. Who was this? Sister
Me.
Okay. Shalini. Okay, yes, you're right. He had a high-paid job. He was working with Romans Revenue Services, tax collector. I think they were the one of the richest and most secure people, though they were not respected. I think when we look something in a job, the first thing we get trapped is something we go for it. How much you are going to get? Though there is a high-paid chances, but that will require that much stress. That will require that much, really stress, and that stress you have to share it with the family also. But he was not satisfied. Why he was not satisfied? Because he was gifted for something else, but he was stuck for some kind of different job. What Brother Sushant said is so right. What I think what I'm trying to say here, there's nothing wrong in choosing a high-paid jobs. There's nothing wrong in choosing the career making, But I think what you are gifted, it will be wonderful to build a career in that. Or if you do not know what is our gifts, praying to God, specifically for the youngsters, praying to God, help me to know my gift. What is my gift? And it would be lovely if I can build my career and glorify your name. Sometimes we spend lots of energy, lots of time, lots of resources to build a career somewhere where I do not have any idea. What I see it, I just see it because it's a high-paid job. What I see, I just see it because it's security. There's a character in the Bible we all know very well, Joseph. God called him to be a second in high command of Egypt, like a prime minister of Egypt. He was working as a manager or HOD of the potter's house until he was accused of rape and he went to the prison and his life got changed. Imagine if that incident would not have happened, what will it be? He was called to do the bigger things. Sometimes we are like this. We stuck in a place because we feel it's secure. We are secure. It's security for us. But God really wants us to move. God really wants us to push. No, this is not the area for you. I have kept something area for you. This is the area for you where you have to grow and go for it. God wants us to do. It will be lovely for all of us if we can really pray for our gifts and ask God to use those gifts and build our career in it. It's never late, by the way. It's never late. Even though we are old, it's never late. We can always pray in such a way, because that will bring, I think, the satisfaction, the contentment. We will be happy in that. We'll be happy in that. And one of the last point I want to talk about is worrying about the life partner. Who's worried about the life partner here? How many in this 13 of us, 12 of us, who's not married? Many youngsters are here. Name it, I can see. Who's there? Who? Any? Sunil Bhaiya, are you there? It's okay. But, my wife always quotes this, that the choosing a life partner is the second most important decision in your life. First one is choosing your faith. And I really agree with her that choosing a life partner is a very important decision. Choosing a right life partner. How do we know that? We can't know who's right and who's wrong. In this church, long time back, before I got married, Sister Jane, how many of you remember Sister Jane? She stood up in a prayer time and she asked, if you remember that incident, she asked that she had an urge to pray for the youngsters who are praying for their life partners. Please stand up and I want to pray. And I want us to pray. I was present in that meeting. My wife was present in that meeting. Though that time we didn't even know each other. I didn't even know her name that time. But we both stood up, and there were other people also. We all stood up. We prayed for our life. You guys prayed for us. And today we are together. We are happy. But it's something like what really fascinated me. It was something that she had an urge to pray. Now, why that kind of us didn't come, no more, that kind of us come to CBF anymore? I don't know, like I'm not attending the church, but it's something like praying for the life partner for our youngsters. But because this is going to really affect their future, it is really going to affect their life further. Praying for the life partner, it is really going to shape how they are going to be in future. Because it will be, I believe one thing, that it's not something, when you marry a non-believer, that's the worst thing. Because we hear so many stories, stories that non-believers became believer. But the worst part is when you marry a person who do not want to know the Christ. That's something like we need to be worried about. And I think this is something, the point is not for our youngster, but for our elders who are already married, who have experienced the marriage, praying for our youngsters and taking maybe some kind of session for our youngster, online or offline, whatever, but really teaching the values about the marriage. Why marriage, and what kind of qualities that you can see. What is the biblical marriage? What is non-biblical marriage? We can always I can really encourage our church deacons and church elders to really ponder on it, because it's going to shape the future of this church youth. If you do agree with me, raise your hand. You're going to do that. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is something like I wanted to share. It was in my heart, and the worries that we are surrounded with. The good part is something, my fellow believers, is something we all know Christ. When we worry, we are giving our worries to God, because He's ready to take away our burdens. He's ready to share our burdens. He's ready to provide. He's ready to protect. He's ready to, guide. It's happening. So I'm sad for all those people who do not know Christ, and they had to go through with all this without any hope. There's no provisions. There's no security. There's no guidance. It's hopeless. We are grateful to God. We are lucky people. We are chosen ones that God has blessed us. But thank you so much. This is the thought that I wanted to share with you all. Hope you are blessed. Thank you.